Hey, what's up, Lorain County High School Hoops fans? We continue our tournament trail here on In the Paint. I'm your host, Rocco Nucci. Kristen Bauer behind the camera. As always, we're here live at the Chronicle Telegram, where, like I said, it is tournament time. It's in full swing here in Lorain County, and we're already kind of getting down to the nitty-gritty. We'll start on the girls' side, where, well, we're left with one. And what team is it? The Wildcats. The Keystone Lady Wildcats get a 48-43 win over Rootstown in the district semifinals. They're under the district finals for the first time since 2012. So Rocky Houston and his Lady Wildcats, they stay perfect on the season, but things don't get any easier, and I'll tell you why here in a second. But they were down 27-22 at the half against Rootstown. Rootstown had actually got off to what I think a 7-0 lead right out of the gate. Saw the highlights on X, crowds going crazy, but Keystone stayed with it. They held their composure like they have all year long, really turned things around, held Rootstown to just 16 second half points. Offensively for Keystone, it was Brooklyn Barber and Vivian Castle leading the way. They each finished with 13 points, and Madison Sokolowski, the freshman, she finished with 10. So it's just a 6-girl rotation for Keystone right now here in the postseason. But I tell you what, those 6 girls, as Coach Houston said in the Chronicle Telegram, they're playing their tails off right now. And that sets up a district final on Saturday night, all the way out at Cortland Lakeview. Jared Kozar and I are going to make the trip out there as they take on another unbeaten team in Crestview. So it's the unbeaten Wildcats going up against perfect Crestview. So who's going to take that first loss? I don't know. We'll find out Saturday night. You can hear it live on WEOL. And again, that's it for the girls. Just one team left in those Keystone Lady Wildcats. So let's jump over to the boys now, where Avon punched their ticket to the district final, sectional final, with a 71-47 win over Worcester. Really nice win for Mike Fitch and his Eagles. It was the usual suspects doing the dirty work yet again for Avon. Nate Farley and Tyson Ziegler, they each finished with 14 points to pace them offensively. And those two, man, I tell you what, when they're clicking, they are tough to stop. I've seen Avon a couple of times in person this year. And again, when those two got it going offensively, it just takes Avon to a whole nother level. So, and they also outscored the Generals 21-6 in the fourth quarter to kind of secure that win. So they played the offense, brought the defense later on as well. Avon, again, playing some really good basketball right now at the right time of the year. That sets up a sectional final against Twinsburg Saturday night at Avon. So Avon against sectional final Saturday night at home as they welcome in Twinsburg. The Keystone boys are on to the sectional finals as well. They picked up a 67-51 win over Manchester. The Cats, the 30 seed. Manchester was the 20 seed. So nice little upset there for Coach Jeff Holzhauer. Grant Hartley led the way with 16. Liam Gorin had 14. And Zach Shackelford had 12. So similar to Avon, when Keystone's top offensive guys got it going, it really just takes them to a whole nother level. So Keystone, they got the job done. 6 of their 7 main rotation guys getting at least 6 points. So yeah, you've got some talent there at the top of the roster, but they're still pretty well spread out in terms of offensive production. So great stuff from Keystone. Coach Holzhauer in the Chronicle Telegram called it their most complete game of the season, and what a time to have it here in the postseason. So again, that sets up a sectional final Friday night for Keystone as they travel to second-seeded LeBray. It'll be a tough task for Coach Holzhauer and friends. Clearview, they're still dancing. They picked up a 77-55 win over Wycliffe. So congratulations to the Clippers on that. Keith Colvin and Jai Walton, they combined for 38 points. Those two were just ridiculous. Clearview, a very athletic team. I've gotten to see them a couple times this year. They play some really sound defense, and they're very dangerous if the offense can come along as well, and it did in that win over Wycliffe. And again, defensively, they held Wycliffe to under 35% from the floor in terms of shooting. So really nice defensive night for Clearview. That sets up a sectional final Friday night over at Fairview in my neck of the woods. I'm actually going to try to be at that game, not calling it for WEOL, but just as a fan to take that one in. Clearview at Fairview Friday night. And this is interesting because Clearview had already traveled to Fairview earlier this year and took down the Warriors by 15 or so, if I'm not mistaken. So Clearview hoping for similar results the second time around as well. Columbia, they're cruising into a sectional final. 97-28 was their final win over at Lordstown. Nate Borling, he set the Columbia single-game scoring record. He scored 47 points, took it from his brother Caleb, who had it previously at 45. He was, reading through the Chronicle Telegram, Nate kind of joking with Caleb, like, hey, I'm coming for your record. And he did just that, scoring 47 points in that win over Lordstown. It was a 26-3 game after the first quarter, so Columbia just imposed their will from the get-go. That sets up a sectional final Friday night as the Raiders travel on over to Lake Center Christian. And finally, Open Door, they're on to the sectional finals as well. They picked up a 52-38 win over 7th-seeded Springfield. So a nice upset win for Alan Januzzi and his Patriots. RJ Penny had 17. Julius Moon would finish with 10. And Anthony Januzzi had 9. So a nice attack there offensively for Open Door. They got the job done as they now travel to Lowellville Friday night for a sectional final. So some other games to look forward to, as you kind of just heard some of the games there from teams that had played and punched their ticket to the next round. Some teams that have kind of been in the wait now. Stowe at Elyria. The Pioneers were awaiting the winner of Stowe and North Ridgeville. Unfortunately for the Rangers, they fell to Stowe, but Elyria welcomes in Stowe on Friday night, excuse me. That's a game you can hear live on WEOL. Avon Lake, they'll play host to North Canton Hoover for a sectional title on Saturday night. Brookside, they await Rocky River Friday night for a sectional final. And then Wellington welcomes in Independence this Friday night as well, or you guessed it, a sectional title. So sectional championship games this weekend. A couple you can hear on WEOL, but plenty of action elsewhere around the area as well. So just again, a quick reminder, Friday on WEOL, it's Stowe at Elyria. And then Saturday night, Jared and I traveling over to Cortland Lakeview as Keystone takes on Crestview for a district championship. So that'll do it for this week. Plenty of action this weekend to take in. Best of luck to our local teams. We're hoping to see you all dancing next week. So we have more things to talk about here on In the Paint. So for Kristen Bauer, I'm Rocco Nucci from the Chronicle Telegram saying thank you for watching another episode of In the Paint. Again, good luck to all of our local teams this weekend. We'll talk to you guys about it next week.